Dear students, in this video we will learn about the town life in the medieval Europe. In the last video we had discussed about the urban development. Urban development means life in towns and cities. So in this connection we will learn in this video and other upcoming videos about the lifestyle of the people of medieval Europe. So there were some characteristics of the town life in medieval Europe. So let us discuss one by one. First we will discuss about the homes and households. Medieval towns were typically small and crowded. They were narrow and could be up to 4 stories high. Most of the houses were made of wood and they tended to lean over time. Sometimes two facing houses would lean so much they touched across the street. Rich and poor lived in quite different households. In poorer neighborhoods, several families might occupy a single house with only one room in which they cooked, ate and slept. In general, people worked where they lived. For example, if a father or mother was a weaver, the loom would be in their home. Wealthy merchants often had splendid homes. The first label might be given over to a business, including offices and storerooms. The family's living quarters might be on the second level or second story, complete with a cellar, a space where the family gathered to eat and talk. An upper level might house servants and apprentices. Even for wealthy families, life was not always comfortable compared to the life in today's world. With fireplaces as the main source of heat and light, rooms were cold, smoky and dim. Most of the windows were very small and covered with oiled parchment instead of glass, so little sunlight came through. Growing up in medieval town was not so easy. Life was very miserable during this period. Next important point is education and marriage life. About half of all children died before they became adults. Those who did survive began preparing for their adult roles around the age of 7. Some boys and a few girls attended school where they learned to read and write. Children from wealthier families might learn to paint and to play music on a lute or a stringed instrument. Other children soon began work as apprentices. In general, people of the medieval ages or middle ages believed in an orderly society in which everyone knew their place. Most boys grew up to do the same work as their fathers were doing. Some girls trained for a craft, but most married young, usually around at the age of 15, and were soon raising children of their own. For many girls, their education was at home and where they learned cooking, cloth making and other skills necessary to take care for a home and family. The next important point is unhealthy conditions and diseases. Unhealthy living conditions in medieval towns led to the spread of diseases. Towns were very dirty places. There was no running water in homes, and instead of bathrooms, people used outdoor privies or shelters used as toilets or chamber pods that they emptied into nearby stream and canals. Garbage too was tossed into streams and canals or into the streets. People lived crowded together in small spaces and usually bathed only once a week. Rats and fleas were common and often carried diseases. It's no wonder that people were frequently ill. Many illnesses that can be prevented or cured today had no cures in medieval times. One example is leprosy, a disease of the skin and nerves that cause open sores. So, because leprosy can spread from one person to another and can cause death, lepers were ordered to live by themselves in isolated houses, usually far from towns. Some towns even passed laws to keep out lepers or leprosy patients. Common diseases for which there was no cure at this time included measles, cholera, smallpox, scarlet fever, etc. The most feared disease was bubonic plague, known as the Black Death. No one knew exactly how diseases spread. Unfortunately, this made many people look for someone to blame. For example, if after an outbreak of illness, Jews were sometimes accused of poisoning wells. So, these were the lacunas and the bad environment during the medieval period in Europe. So, next important point is medical treatment. Although hospitals were invented during the Middle Ages, there were very few of them. When sickness struck, most people were treated in their homes by family members or sometimes a doctor. And it is quite interesting to know that the medieval doctors believed in a combination of prayer, medical treatment, many involving herbs or natural treatments, etc. Using herbs as medicine had a long history based on traditional folk wisdom and knowledge handed down from ancient Greece and Rome. Other treatments were based on less scientific methods. For example, medieval doctors sometimes consulted the position of the planets and relied on magic charms to heal people. Another common technique was to bleed the patients by opening a vein or applying leeches, a type of worm, to the skin to suck out the blood. Medieval doctors believed that this bloodletting helped restore balance to the body and spirit. Unfortunately, such treatments often weakened a patient further and the patient could die. The next important point is the crime and punishment. Besides being unhealthy, medieval towns were noisy, smelly, crowded, and often unsafe. Pickpockets and thieves were always on the lookout for vulnerable travelers with money in their pouches. Towns were especially dangerous at night because there were no street lights. In some cities, night watchmen patrolled the streets with candle lanterns to deter or discourage criminals. People accused of crimes were held in dirty, crowded jails. Prisoners relied on friends and family to bring them food or money, or else risk starving or being ill-treated. Wealthy people sometimes left money in their wills to help prisoners to buy foods. Then trial of the criminals. In the early Middle Ages, trial by ordeal or combat was often used to establish an accused person's guilt or innocence. In a trial by ordeal, the accused had to pass a dangerous test, such as being thrown into a deep well. Unfortunately, a person who floated instead of drowning was declared guilty because he or she had been rejected by the water. In a trial by combat, the accused person had to fight to prove his or her innocence. People believed that God would ensure the right party won. Clergy, women, children, and disabled people could name a champion to fight on their behalf. Punishments for crimes were very harsh. For lesser crimes, people were fined or put in the stocks. That means a wooden frame with holes for the person's arms and sometimes legs. Being left in the stocks publicly for hours or days, both painful and humiliating. People found guilty of crimes such as highway robbery, stealing livestock, treason, or murder could be hanged or burned at the stake. Executions were carried out in public, often in front of large crowds. In most parts of Europe, important nobles shared with monarchs the power to prosecute major crimes. In England, kings in the early 1100s began creating a nationwide system of royal courts. The decisions of royal judges contributed a governing body of common law along with an independent judiciary or court system. English common law would become an important safeguard of individual rights. Throughout Europe, court trials based on written and oral evidence eventually replaced trials by ordeal or combat. Next important point is leisure and amusements. So, let us know what sort of amusement they were enjoying during that period. Many aspects of town life were challenging and people worked hard, but they also participated in leisure activities. They enjoyed quite a few days off from work too. In medieval times, people engaged in many of the same activities as we enjoy today. Children played with dolls and toys such as wooden swords, balls, and hobby horses. They rolled hoops and played games like badminton, lawn bowling, and blind man's bluff. Adults also liked games such as chess, checkers, and backgammon. They might gather to play card games, go dancing, or enjoy other social activities. Next is the cultural life. Medieval towns people also took time off from to work to celebrate special days such as religious feasts. On Sundays and holidays, animal betting was popular though cruel, but it was full of amusement. First, a bull or bear was fastened to a stake by a chain around its neck or a back leg, and sometimes by a nose ring. Then specially trained dogs were set loose to torment the captive animal. Fair days were especially festive as jugglers, dancers and clowns entertained the fairgoers. Minstrels performed songs, recited poetry and played instruments such as harps, while guild members paraded through the streets dressed in special costumes and carrying banners. Guilds also staged mystery plays in which they acted out Bible stories. Often they performed stories that were appropriate to the guild. In some towns, for instance, the boat builders acted out the story of Noah, which describes how Noah had to build an ark, a large boat, to survive a flood that God sent to cleanse the world's sinful people. In other towns, the coppers or barrel makers acted out this story too. The coppers put hundreds of water-filled barrels on the rooftops. Then they released the water to present the 40 days of rain described in the story. Mystery plays gave rise to another type of religious drama, the miracle play. These plays dramatized the lives of saints, often showing the saints performing miracles or wonders. For example, in England, it was popular to portray the story of Saint George, who slew a dragon that was about to eat the king's daughter. Then another important point is the centers of culture. So when compared to the people of the rural areas, the town dwellers were cultured. They wished to have all the facilities available according to the standards of those days. A well-built town had strong protective walls and watchtowers known as belfries. They had their own administrative offices, assembly halls, churches, prisons and guilds. They patronized art, architecture, literature and learning and became centers of culture and civilization. So thank you, and in the next video we will discuss the other aspects of the town life. Thank you.